Welcome back to Sam's Garage, presented by NH Oil Undercoating. Sam and Doug work on replacing the lower control arms with new fully adjustable billet arms. The upgraded control arms will provide new adjustability that was not available from the factory. Along the way, they'll give us some tips on how to remove stubborn, rusted, and seized up bolts.
Doug and I have already tackled the front suspension of our GTO project. We're going to go on to the rear suspension, giving it the same treatment by removing the factory control arms and replacing it with aftermarket billet ones.
Yeah, the aftermarket billet's going to give us all of the control that we need. We can get all the adjustment in to get this puppy to really handle.
Exactly right.
One of the tech tips is we have a lower control arm pin here, and then we have on the very bottom, and what's very typical, what they'll do is you have a shaft that goes all the way through, and then they grind a little slot, so when the pin drops through, it locks everything in place. It's real important that you put a nut when you get ready to bang it out so you don't destroy all the threads. If you put the nut onto it, then that'll take the impact as you get ready to start to release it out.
In a case like this, an air hammer is not going to work very well. You're going to have to use real blunt force. So that's why I got a big sledgehammer and some good punches. This is an extension. Used to be 1/2 inch. Check it out now, it's like a 1/4 inch. But it does the job, so.
We're setting up the torch so we can go ahead and heat the material around the outside of the pin. And what that'll do is it'll cause the material to expand. It'll give us more room to knock the pin out. Right now, the pin that we've got in there is just absolutely wedged in from time. I'm sure it's got some rust and some corrosion that's just holding it in place. So what we've got to do is open everything up by heating the metal. Make sure that you don't get the material cherry red. You want to keep the torch head moving because you don't want to change the composition of the material by getting it too hot, because if you're using certain types of material, it can get very hard and very brittle. So as you're putting the heat to it, keep that flame moving. And if you're going to go ahead and you use penetrating oil onto it, let everything cool down before you put it in. Put penetrating oil at the beginning, then wait a little bit, add heat to it, let it cool, and then go ahead and put some more penetrating oil to get everything to break free.
Then what we're going to do is remove the straps that are holding the bottom portion of our control arm into the inside subframe of the car. We're going to remove this mount that holds a differential in place. That'll get us to the rear bolts of the control arms. We're going to remove these two front straps. That whole arm's going to come down. We're going to replace it with new billet ones. Items that require an alignment, like this control arm, as you can see, I got 1, 2, 3, 4 points of adjustment. But I want to make sure to get to the alignment rack without killing the tires. So you want to put it on the table and get yourself pretty close. There's going to be adjustment both here and here. What you don't want to do is adjust these out all the way and then you've got very little threads in here, whereas you have room for adjustment here. So do the adjustments evenly so that you have good amount of threads inside the arm. That's going to give you a lot of integrity. Doug and I have our rear lower control arms installed, and as you can see, just like the front, we removed all the bushings and replaced everything with solid mounts. So what this is going to do is remove any chance of torque steer. And what torque steer is, anytime you have torque on the suspension and the bushings move or bind, it's going to change the alignment, changing the steering.
Everything that we've installed is extremely solid with the Heim joints onto it. It's fully adjustable. It's made out of a single piece billet aluminum. It's got a tremendous amount of strength. With this, we'll get all the adjustment that we want. We can lay as much power down as we need, and it'll be in a lot of fun. It'll handle extremely well.
Yep, and the final installation here is going to be when this knuckle goes into the shaft right here. This guy's going to lock everything in place, just like that. But I'm not going to go ahead and install that yet because we're going to be doing a brake upgrade and coilover setup on this. So we're going to be installing this last.
Yeah, and remember guys, when you're doing this, keep everything loose. We're still going through the build process. You want to be able to make everything where it'll attach real easy, and then we'll start to tighten it down.